Hi there guys, how's it going? It's Scott back at you with another video about hair loss. So my last video with my personal story of what happened with my hair, for my sort of videos it's done quite well and I've had good feedback. And I want to continue with that and do a couple more videos on varying topics a bit more in depth to do with hair loss. Because there's not a humongous amount of just basically people's opinions and thoughts on stuff to do with hair loss on YouTube from what I've seen, because I watch it all. And today's video is why I personally would not get a hair transplant. Hair transplants, I think, are really popular as people's solution to fixing the hair loss problem. People often go, well, I'll just get a hair transplant, or why don't you just get a hair transplant? Because they seem like it's a lot of people talk as if they're easy and they're just an easy solution these days. When I think there's a lot more to it if you really research it. So hair transplants have absolutely come a massive way since they first started. I believe back in like the 70s or the 80s. The technology and the way they do it has got really amazing, and there's a lot of doctors out there who really know this craft well. And there's a lot of Instagram celebrities and just regular celebrities where you can see, you know, really fantastic results. Don't get me wrong. A good one I like to refer to when I'm talking about hair transplants is Machine Gun Kelly. He used to have really bad hair loss, and now he has, he has really good hair, really good head of hair. And so yeah, it's worked great for him, but he had a lot of money. He's probably gone to some of the best doctors in America to get that on his head. Now, I don't want to sit here and tell you what to do. If you're set on getting a hair transplant, good for you, Who am I to tell you what to do? If you feel that will help you in your life, that's great. This is just my 2 cents on why I personally wouldn't go down that route. Now, although you can get these great results, I feel, when looking at myself, I'm a warrior and I don't have a great deal of money. And if I spent all that money on a hair transplant, I'd spend the rest of my life still worrying about whether all that money I put into this would stay. And it would just prolong that paranoia. Whilst I feel the whole route of just shaving your head, which has worked for me, and just getting over it and just learning to accept this is who I am, mentally works better for me. Now, things to consider when getting a hair transplant is, number one, it costs a lot of money. It's got a lot more affordable than it was in the past, but it's still very expensive. The sort of cheapest places in the world you can get it are places like Istanbul and Turkey, where you can, for a couple of £1,000s, get quite a lot of grafts. The problem with that is I personally wouldn't like going to get surgery abroad, because what about the aftercare, and there's obviously the language barrier, and if something goes wrong, it's harder to take someone into account when they're in a different country. So I think that's quite a scary thing, getting these surgeries abroad. If you happen to be watching this and you're going to get one anyway, do a hell of a lot of research into who's going to be doing your surgery. So yeah, there's costs. Obviously, if you get it done in your own country, like if you get it done here in the UK, it's going to cost like £5,000 and over. And there's not more than just that initial cost. Obviously, you need a bit of time off work to let it heal. And there's also, it's not you just get this hair transplant and that's it, you're sorted for life. If I got a hair transplant here, this hair in years to come is still going to go back. So you're going to need to go into some sort of prescription to keep those hairs there and block the DMT from stripping the hairs towards the back. And so that means you're going to be taking drugs for the rest of your life, which could have complications. And also that is just a big bill of always having to buy these medicines to put inside yourself just to keep this going on your head. And I think that brings even more worries. Things that I do really detest is there's a lot of these adverts to do with these Turkish clinics and doctors and stuff about fixing your hair. They constantly come up in my browser because obviously I've looked up hair loss stuff, and I think that's just preying on people's like worry and just they're just finding people who are worried about things and just giving them hope. And I think it's a load of rubbish. I hate those advertisements that make it just seem just so easy when it really is just not that easy. So there's also the risk of the hair transplant going bad. I've seen a lot of pictures and videos of just guys looking, it's really obvious and it just looks bad, and then you're gonna have to put even more money into fixing that. There just seems to be a lot of difficulties with if it goes wrong over just shaving your head and getting used to it. Don't get me wrong, if I could keep my hair for the rest of my life, I absolutely would. But I'm not going to spend a ton of money and just trying to fight something that nature doesn't want to happen. In my opinion, of course. This is why personally I'm not going to get one. If I ever get given thousands of pounds, am I going to put it towards a hair transplant? No, I'd rather get a mortgage or, I don't know, invest it in myself by going to school or something. But I guess the main thing I'm trying to come down to is I feel you should just learn to love yourself for who you are and what your genetics have given you, rather than trying to fight it, in my eyes. And I feel good now that I've just shaved it and accepted this is who I am, and I'm not going to invest in a ton of money into a surgery to try and alter that. I think I would say is if anyone's watching this and they happen to be thinking about getting a hair transplant, and I think anyone who is going to get a hair transplant should be like forced to do this, is I think you should at least shave your head for say half a year, give it 6 months. If after 6 months you're still hating your head, then go ahead, go spend a load of money to try and alter your appearance. But give it a go before you sign up to do something so drastic. And so there we have it, guys. There's some simple reasons why I personally would never get a hair transplant. Would you get a hair transplant? What do you think about hair transplants? Leave a comment down below. I'm going to be doing some other videos about some of the other treatments and some of the pros and cons of having a shaved head and stuff. I've got some other ideas coming. So please subscribe. Really appreciate the watch. Thank you very much.